Dr. Myron Harden, and this is our Heartfelt video series as part of Myron Harden Ministries. Thank you for joining us on this journey as we look into our emotions and their place in our world. So today in Heartfelt video 2, we're going to look at that place where we have put the crown on our feelings. And I'm going to draw this out, and I know I spoke about it in the last video, but I just want to draw out this idea that I have, that when we have feelings, they drive our thoughts and our behaviours. And when we were talking about thoughts, our thoughts go into rumination, and at the same time our actions, our behaviours go into reaction. And when we become reactive to our emotions, our behaviours follow along, and we get stuck into these loops of feeling strongly about something and then allowing that feeling to drive our behaviour. And when it does that, we actually emphasise that feeling. That feeling gets stronger and stronger and stronger. We've underlined it. In fact, in some ways, we've actually put a crown on our feeling. So a crown on our feelings means that our choices in life are based on if it feels right, if this feels, what I should be doing. And if we don't feel that, then we probably won't go ahead with our actions. But I'm going to suggest that there are lots and lots of situations in life where we actually have to go against our feelings. We have to make a decision based on what's the right thing to do, even when we feel anxious about it. Even when we feel that, there might be a possibility that it could be wrong. Sometimes we have to go into situations in life where we end up seeing our goal up in the distance, and we have to deny our feelings for a time in order to get to our goal. So people who are very goal-driven are able to put aside momentary feelings that they have in a situation of tiredness, or momentary feelings of pursuing other distractions in order to achieve their goals. So you have to realise that in order to get anywhere in life, there are times to ignore our feelings. Now sometimes our feelings will even lie to us, and I'm aware that when we have gone into a place of reacting to a feeling and we've created a neurological pathway, that feeling, which has gotten stronger when we have reacted to it and behaved in a certain way and created a neurological pathway that is much easier for our actions to follow that feeling, it then seems quite unnatural when we have to choose a behaviour that's separate from our previous reactions. And that's part of this situation of finding a new way of behaving, and behaving based on our values. The reality is that feelings are not a good master. They are fickle. And when we allow the feelings to choose our actions for us, we end up in that loop, and we sometimes lose our values, the values that we have chosen for ourselves, the values that we've based our life on, those values that are sort of foundational for your choices in life. And they might be things like integrity, and they might be things like, valuing honour and respect, valuing people, everyone, no matter who they are. Those sort of values are what sometimes goes out the window when we're in that reactive place. So today I'm going to suggest that there is another way that we can look at this. Many times people have elevated their feelings because of a set of circumstances. they believe that those circumstances, those situations, the events in their life are the reason they feel that way. People have this connection with, okay, if that thing didn't happen, well, I wouldn't feel like that. If that person hadn't said that, well, I wouldn't feel this. Whatever the situation is in life, it's not the circumstance that brought on the feeling. It's actually what you believed about the circumstance. Our beliefs are what brings on that feeling. So it gives us a chance to start to look at our feelings differently, to see them as only part of us and not the one thing that decides our actions. When we view our feelings as part of us, they're part of that triad of feelings, thoughts and behaviours, we can actually put the feelings in their rightful place. They are a motivating force, they are a gift from God, but they are not to be the only one. We need to have something else that reminds us of our values. And part of that comes from recognising what we actually believe about our circumstances. And sometimes it's in that space where we start to see that it's possible that if I change my belief, and see what God sees about my circumstance, then it's easier to come back to this place of acting based on my personal beliefs. And the WWJD is an acronym from probably, I think, the 90s. It was something like, it was a movement at the time, and it was making our choices based on what would Jesus do. And it would be a place where we would recognise that maybe Jesus would see something about my circumstances that I'm not seeing. And so when I take the crown off my beliefs, of my feelings, I now put the crown on Jesus. Allow him to make that sort of value-based choice for me, and I submit my will to him in that place. Anyway, this is enough for Heartfelt video 2. Exercise from today. I'm going to get you to just take a moment to look at this little pro forma that I've written. Have a little look at what are your circumstances. So you might like to write 1 or 2 lines about a couple of things that are happening in your life right now. And what's the feeling that you have associated with that circumstance? What are the things that you've found easy to react to? Maybe write them down. And if like something has made you angry, you can write, okay, this is the circumstance, this is my anger feelings. And ask yourself, how do you show when you're angry? What are those things that you actually do that people around you know you're angry? There might be you stomp around, maybe you raise your voice, maybe you give people a cold shoulder, maybe when you're angry you shout, maybe you slam the door, maybe you go for a long drive because you don't want to talk to anyone. It's a way of removing yourself from people just in case you might say something wrong or hurtful. Whatever it is, I want you to write them down. So a couple lines on circumstance, a line on what you're feeling, and a line on how you normally show your feelings. And then put a little line underneath all of that, and then write, okay, what does Jesus see about my circumstances? What is it in my circumstance that I have focused on something, maybe ignored something else, and in that space ask, maybe Holy Spirit, what would Jesus do if he was going through the same thing I'm going through? Write that down. This is your place in deciding and making a choice based on your own personal values. Enough for today, and we will talk again with our next video. I'm reading from Psalm 42. This is also in the Message translation. Psalm 42 has a beautiful song at the beginning about the deer that thirsts, but I'm reading from verse 4. These are the things I go over and over, emptying out the pockets of my life. I was always at the head of the worshipping crowd, right out in the front, leading them all, eager to arrive and worship, shouting praises, singing thanksgiving, celebrating, all of us, God's feast. Why are you down in the dumps, dear soul? Why are you crying the blues? Fix my eyes on God. Soon I'll be praising again. He puts a smile on my face. He's my God. When my soul is in the dumps, I rehearse everything I know of you, from Jordan depths to Hermon heights, including Mount Miser. Chaos calls to chaos, to the tune of whitewater rapids. Your breaking surf, your thundering breakers, crash and crush me. Then God promises to love me all day, sing songs all through the night. My life is God's prayer.